That then is round 5 of the TCR International Series done and dusted. We move immediately on to round 6 with the wonders of technology. That happened a little earlier on, but we now join the grid live. And this time, it's not a Seat on pole position because of the reversed grid system. The top 10 from Q2 are reversed for the grid for race 2. And so it's Gianni Morbidelli there you saw on the left-hand side, who will start from pole. A hot old day here in Valencia, 33 degrees air temperature. The track a scorching 50 degrees. And so even more so than race 1, the heat will have a problem, will have an effect on the tyres. And also, you really don't want to be running in the pack, do you? You really want to be running in clear air. And so that's pretty much the only advantage. I think the positivity that that man will be taking from his grid position. Gianni Morbidelli will be starting from pole, with Bas Schouten alongside him, having qualified 9th. Then there's Oscar Noguez, who will be looking hopefully for the first points for the Opel Astra. There he is, 3rd on the grid. And then it's one of the Audi TTs alongside him. And that will be Jordi Genet that we're looking at. And of course, this time, Pepe Oriola starts from 10th in the grid, on the grid. In an exact reverse of the situation that we saw in race 1, when it was Morbidelli from 10th. What can Pepe Oriola do? What can Genet do? Can he repeat that amazing start from race 1? As the cars set off on their green flag lap, there is Pepe Oriola. Can he come from 10th on the grid to lead as Gianni Morbidelli did in Shanghai a matter of a few weeks ago? I suspect it's going to be a lot tougher here in Valencia than it was in Shanghai. There is Oriola in the middle of your screen. Kevin Gleeson behind him. Then there's Grachev. As the cars put heat in their tyres, there's Stefano Camini at the wheel of Vanessa. Camini carrying just 10 kilos of success ballast as opposed to the 30 kilos he was carrying in Shanghai. And let's confirm the starting grid for you. I've already mentioned Gianni Morbidelli starting from pole. Bas Schouten alongside him in the Seat. Then it's Oscar Noguez, 3rd on the grid for the Opel. Then Franz Engstler, Audi TT. Jordi Genet, Sergei Afanasiev in the 2 Craft Bamboo Lukoil Seats. Then Michel Nukia, Stefano Camini, Target Competition Seats. And then behind them, it's Andrea Bellicchi and Pepe Oriola in the repeat of the front row from race 1. David Cebrian 11th, Kevin Gleeson 12th. Lucille Cipriano starts from 14th, just ahead of Igor Shkuz and Lorenzo Valia. And once again, at the back of the grid will be Jordi Oriola in the 2nd of the Campos Racing Opel Astras. And looking at the back of at the top of your screen, there is Jordi Oriola, weaving left to right in the white Opel Astra with the black diagonal stripe up the sides, with lettering denoting sponsorship from the Kali Group from Macau. So relatively easy to tell the 2 Opel Astras apart, but as you can see, not so easy to tell the 3 Target Competition cars apart, nor the 3 Hondas, nor the 3 Craft Bamboo Lukoil Seats. It's all down to door mirrors. Jordi Genet just leaving your frame with green door mirrors, Sergei Afanasiev red, and Pepe Oriola, you see there in the distance, with white door mirrors. And the Hondas, Gianni Morbidelli with a black sunstrip, Kevin Gleeson with red, and Igor Shkuz with green. That's the position then for the championship. Stefano Camini still leads. But of course, there's the small matter of another 15-lap race to come. Gianni Morbidelli then comes on to the start-finish straight to line up on pole position. Bas Schouten, you see there looking back from Morbidelli's car, will be alongside him on the grid for that drag down to the first left-hander at turn 1. As I mentioned, the quickest corner on the circuit. On a flying lap, they go through the gears up into 6th. top speed of the circuit just before you pass the pit lane exit. Then they're braking, just dropping down a gear for turn 1, which is taken in 5th. Then the drag up to turn 2, which is a 3rd gear corner, which that gives us one of our overtaking spots on the circuit. Not that many places to pass. Something like 2 or 3 really decent overtaking opportunities. Another one comes at turn 11, where you can just get up the inside, so Jordi Genet was telling me this morning. And another looking down at that corner, which is turn 14, Adrian Campos. The left-hander at turn 14 is another good opportunity to overtake, according to Jordi Genet, and he should know. That's the front of our grid then. At the bottom right of your screen, our pole position Honda Civic of Gianni Morbidelli. And somebody running up to one of the cars, a door possibly unfastened in Mikhail Grachev's car. The marshal's sorting it out. The green flag is waved. That's the signal that they're all in position. The red light should go on. Indeed, they do. They go out very quickly, and we're away. And the Opel makes a stunning start. Gianni Morbidelli, not a great start. Oscar Noguez alongside on the left hand. So the... and contact, no! What was I saying about no contact in race 1? Oscar Noguez just tipped into a spin and collecting another car as he went through. Loads of cars running wide on that left-hander. And I dare say we'll see a repeat of that incident from a number of angles as the cars stream through. But after a brilliant start from Oscar Noguez in the Opel, and no surprise, the safety car being deployed, yellow flags out to clear away the debris from that incident away from the start line. But it is Stefano Comini who leads the field at the moment with the green door mirrors. Comini in car 25, just ahead of Michel Nukia. Gianni Morbidelli having dropped to 3rd, Bascouten 4th, Andrea Bellicchi 5th. And there's Grachev taking to the grass. A problem with, yes, once again, it's a problem with the front right of the car. This time, though, as you can see, it's a puncture rather than the steering problem, the broken steering that ended his race in Shanghai. But the yellow flag's out. The safety car will come out to collect the cars. And that looked like Noguez at the back of the field, sporting damage. Indeed, it was. So you can see circulating there at the back of the field. So target competition 1 and 2 for Stefano Comini. There is Mikhail Grachev climbing over the barriers. And there is the safety car waiting to pick up the field. Comini then from Nukia, from Morbidelli, from Schouten, from Avanasiev, from Bellicchi. Pepe Oriola, 7th. David Sebrian, 8th. Lucille Cipriano, 9th. Franz Engstler, 10th. And as you can see there, Oscar Noguez in 15th place. Grachev having pulled over. And the casualty from that first corner incident, Jordi Genet. Watch this. This is that amazing start from Oscar Noguez. Up alongside Gianni Morbidelli on the inside line for the left-hander at turn 1. We don't then see the actual incident, but Noguez takes out Jordi Genet, pushes Genet into the barriers. Let's have a look from the other angle. Now, it's contact from Morbidelli, who tips Oscar Noguez into a spin and takes out the unsuspecting Jordi Genet, who will be absolutely furious, I dare say. Let's look back from Gianni Morbidelli's car. There is Oscar Noguez, who comes up alongside. There is Jordi Genet on the left of your screen. Let's watch what happens. We'll see that, I suspect, from at least one other angle. And a bit of jiggling around. Right, there is Noguez in front, who moves left alongside Gianni Morbidelli. Then there's contact between the pair. And then here comes Noguez tipping Jordi Genet. And really, the Spanish driver has nowhere to go. You have to feel for Jordi Genet. He was an innocent bystander in all of that. And I dare say there will be something to be said when Jordi next bumps into Oscar Noguez. That's the incident on the right-hand side. And That teaches me a lesson about jinxing things during race one. And also that's the incident that put paid to Mikhail Grachev. Contact with his team leader, it would appear, Franz Engstler, and causing damage to the front right of the car. The puncture, or at least the tyre, looks to be off the rim. And so that's the end of Mikhail Grachev's race. There is Gianni Morbidelli, having dropped back to 11th. Not sure what the problem is there, but the safety car still out, the lights are on. So we can do up to 2 laps, excuse me, behind the safety car without penalty to the race distance. So the race distance goes up to 17 laps, and there is the discussion going on at Campos between Oscar Noguez and clearly describing the collision with Gianni Morbidelli, and he really couldn't do a great deal about where he was going, and unfortunately collecting Jordi Genet on the way. So, the safety car still with its lights on, giving everybody a chance to hopefully get some more. And there is Jordi Genet, and that face looks, it says it all, doesn't it? So, the long, lonely walk back to the Kraft Bamboo Lukoil pit for Jordi Genet, where potentially he'll be saying any chance of looking at a replay of that. Confirmation then that once we're racing once again, this is how things stand. Stefano Comini leads from Michel Nukier. So target competition 1 and 2, Sergei Avanasiev for Kraft Bamboo Lukoil 3rd, Pepe Oriola, his teammate, 4th, with Gianni Morbidelli having dropped back. Andrea Bellicchi 5th, Bas Schouten 6th. Then it's David Sebrian, Lucille Cipriano having improved to 8th. Then Franz Engstler, then Kevin Gleeson. And then let's oblige Jordi with a look at exactly what happened from this incident. They go out of shot, but that noise says it all. Oscar Noguez making collision, making contact with Gianni Morbidelli's car, which tips him into a spin, collects Jordi Genet on the way, and Genet into the barriers at the exit to the pit lane. Game over for both Oscar Noguez and Jordi Genet. Let's take another look at the incident from Pepe Oriola's car, and you can see there in the distance, it's all happening. And they take the left-hander. And that's the moment. Jordi Genet climbs out of his stricken Seat Leon, parked none too neatly in the barriers at the exit of the pit lane. And consolation for Oscar Noguez. What on earth happened, he says, did you see that? There is Grachev's car, and the marshals recovering it. The problem all with that front right wheel. The front left doesn't appear to be too badly affected. So you'd say, again, just as in Shanghai, it's a broken steering arm or something along those lines. The lights are still on the safety car. So the problem now is maintaining temperature in the tyres so that they're ready to go once the safety car pulls in. So 17 race laps will be our race distance. 2 laps added to our original duration of 15 laps. The drivers not wanting to be too aggressive with warming up their tyres because, again, as we've been saying, the temperatures here and the race distance, 15 laps, extended now to 17, potentially causing problems in the closing stages of the race, depending on how aggressive you are with your tyres. So they're on lap 4, 3 laps completed, in fact 3.5 laps, you could say, completed behind the safety car. Stefano Comini will lead once the safety car comes in from Michal Nukia, Sergei Afanasiev, Pepe Oriola, and you say that with Oriola having improved from 10th to 4th already, that it might be a safe bet for 2 wins out of 2 here in Spain for Oriola, depending on what he can do about the 3 other Seats ahead of him. The safety car will be in this lap. A message from race control, so the lights on the safety car will soon be switched off. That will then come in at the end of this lap, and so we will be racing once again. The message is being relayed to all of the drivers. Gianni Morbidelli having dropped right back to the back of the field. So he'll be running in 14th and last position once the safety car comes in, with our 3 casualties from lap 1. Oscar Noguez and Jordi Genet from that incident, and Mikhail Grachev, whose Audi TT you saw being recovered a moment or 2 ago from the collision, it would appear, from the earlier shot with Franz Engstler. So Pepe Oriola will know that he's got 3 men ahead of him, his teammate Sergei Afanasiev and the 2 target competition drivers, Michal Nukia and our current leader Stefano Comini. Comini carrying ballast, Nukia and Afanasiev not. So Oriola knows that he has to make a reasonable job of the restart, but he then still has plenty of time to reel in those 3 drivers. Behind Oriola, it's Andrea Bellicchi, Bas Schouten, David Cebrian, Lucille Cipriano and Franz Engstler, and Kevin Gleeson, who round up the top 10, and Jordi Genet relegated to the role of spectator, and, oh, well, that look says it all, doesn't it? Poor Jordi Genet, you have to feel sorry for him, and you have to say that he was completely blameless in that incident. He didn't see Oscar Noguez come from his left. We head down, this is turn 13, just the left-hander at turn 14. Then our safety car will peel in. There is turn 14. They head up to the start-finish straight. Oriola there, you see, tucked in right behind Sergei Afanasiev. Green flag is waved. We are racing once again. Comini then from Nukia, from Afanasiev, from Oriola. Bellicchi in 5th. Schouten in 6th. David Cebrian already having a look at the inside of Bas Schouten. Then it's Lucille Cipriano. Franz Engstler behind her. And Oriola already having done what he needed to do, just getting past Afanasiev. So the 2 target competition men ahead of him. Next in his sights, Michal Nukia. And that is Igor Shkuz, who pulls up on track. And there's no way that he'll be able to stay in that position unless that's a repeat of his race 1 incident where he can get going again. So there is Comini from Nukia, from Oriola, having made up from 10th to 3rd and passing Afanasiev to make the first move of what he needed to do. Behind Afanasiev, Andrea Bellicchi, Bas Schouten, you see there David Cebrian already diving up the inside for the right-hander. Has Cebrian got the line? Yes, he has. No, he hasn't. The next left-hander, Schouten, holds his nerve to go around this right-hander. Lorenzo Valia passing Kevin Gleeson for 10th place there. But this is the scrap between Pepe Oriola and Michal Nukia for 2nd place, as Stefano Comini heads off into the distance, doing exactly what Pepe Oriola did. He knows that this is his best chance to get as much space between himself and Oriola, who has a look and then decides against it. So Oriola 3rd, Afanasiev 4th, Bellicchi 5th, Cebrian 6th, Bas Schouten 7th, ahead of Lucille Cipriano, Franz Engstler 9th, Lorenzo Valia 10th, having passed Kevin Gleeson, and Gianni Morbidelli back on the pace, it would seem, after dropping back, having made a couple of places back up to 12th. But Cipriano having passed Bas Schouten, Somebody cuts the corner, kicking up just a cloud of dust in the background. So there is Cipriano. Franz Engstler also having a look. Valencia you saw in the background. Jordi Oriola now having come into the pits. So disappointment for Campos. Let's see if they can get Jordi Oriola back out. There is Schouten. There are the two Hondas. Igor Shku's into the pit, so he was able to get going once again. So potentially a repeat of the problem which saw him stop in race 1. Franz Engstler, 9th place. With ahead of him, you see Lucille Cipriano's predominantly white Seat Leon. Then Bas Schouten, then the blue Seat Leon of David Cebrian in the distance. But we look down the start-finish straight. There's our race leader, Stefano Camini. Michel Nuccia defending from Pepe Oriola, knowing he has a job to do to keep Oriola from grabbing that second place. Although you have to say, that may potentially be just a matter of time. Nuccia defending aggressively. We're looking from Oriola's car as they go round the left-hander at turn 2. Oriola just having a look up the inside, but no, Nuccia will, just edging Nuccia out. But Nuccia will have the line for the right-hander. Indeed, he does. Just still fending off Oriola, who gets up the inside. Contact between the pair. They're side by side going up to the left-hander. But indeed, it looks to be... No, indeed, Oriola having to just give ground to Nuccia. A great battle developing here for second place. As you just briefly saw, Stefano Camini leave frame as our race leader. Nuccia defending from Pepe Oriola, with Sergei Avanasiev being threatened now by Andrea Bellicchi. There is Bellicchi with David Cebrian behind him, Bas Schouten having moved up. And Oriola on the inside line. Does he have it for turn 12? No. Cipriano still ahead of Engstler. Is this a chance at turn 14 for Oriola to get past Nuccia? No, it isn't. But he's tucked in right behind. He moves to the left as they go down the start-finish straight, up through the gears to 6th, down then 1 for 5th gear for this left-hander. And it looks to me as though Nuccia has done enough to keep Oriola behind him. Indeed he does. It's Nuccia who takes the left-hander at turn 1 in second place. Oriola, though, again looks to move up. Has he got up alongside Nuccia? Does he force him? Indeed. Contact, the lightest of contact between the two, forcing Nuccia to run wide. He comes back at Oriola, but he's not done enough. Oriola coming back, and also the second of the target competition cars. That's Andrea Bellicchi also having a look. Can he do anything to help Nuccia? A terrific scrap between the three now for second place as Stefano Camini heads off. There's clouds of tyre smoke coming from Oriola's front right-hand tyre after contact. The bodywork potentially rubbing on the tyre. There is Schouten. And Oriola, having suffered from that over-exuberance, that lunge up the contact. We'll hopefully take a look at that from a replay. But he coming off, Pepe Oriola coming off worst from that contact. He's now behind Bas Schouten. As Franz Engstler takes a look up the inside of Lucille Cipriano, and also Lorenzo Valencia up alongside his team leader. Valencia in the Seat, Engstler in the Audi, with the two Hondas behind also taking a look. That's Kevin Gleeson with Gianni Morbidelli just behind. So that's the scrap for 8th place. We're on board with Gianni Morbidelli going down the start-finish straight. But let's take a look at this. Again, clouds of smoke coming off at one of the Seats in the distance there. Camini then from Nuccia, from Schouten, from Pepe Oriola. Bellicchi having dropped back to 5th, possibly as a result of that collision with Oriola. Schouten coming out of having come out of it the best. Avanasiev dropping behind David Sebrian. Then it's Lorenzo Vaglia, Franz Engstler, Kevin Gleeson we saw a moment or two ago, then Gianni Morbidelli. There they are running together. Now, is this the moment of the tap that caused the damage? Indeed, I think this is the collision with Nukia that caused the problem for Pepe Oriola. Nukia coming back at him, and Oriola dropping back to 4th as a result, allowing Bas Schouten to pass the 2. There is David Sebrian, 6th place currently. There is our leader. Healthy gap now between Stefano Comini and 2nd place Michel Nukia. The pressure off Nukia. Bas Schouten 3rd, Pepe Oriola 4th, Andrea Bellicchi 5th, David Sebrian 6th, Lorenzo Vaglia in 7th, then Franz Engstler. We're on board with Gianni Morbidelli, looking up at his teammate. That's Kevin Gleeson ahead of him. And there's the confirmation. Morbidelli, Gleeson, Engstler and Vaglia, 10th, 9th, 8th and 7th. Vaglia having got past Franz Engstler. As Andrea Bellicchi moves out, there's yet more tyre smoke. And did I see a flapping tyre potentially on, I think it was Lucille Cipriano's car, as I think she runs wide in the distance. There's Engstler coming back at Vaglia. The 2 Hondas, though. And yes, very, very wide Lorenzo Vaglia, allowing, or nearly allowing Franz Engstler through, but no, indeed, coming back on track after a very wide line, to put it mildly, at turn 1. We're on lap 10 of 17 then. 2, remember, added to the race distance of 15 laps originally because of the safety car intervention, because of that incident coming off the start line involving Oscar Noguez and Jordi Genet. So, Stefano Comini, a lead now of over 4 seconds from Michel Nukia. Bas Schouten in 3rd, Pepe Oriola 4th, Bellicchi 5th, David Sebrian 6th, Lorenzo Vaglia still hanging on to 7th. There's that battle between Vaglia and Franz Engstler. We're on board with Engstler in the Audi, which, as we keep saying, is effectively a Seat Leon underneath, prepared by Seat Sport in Barcelona. And the Audi given a waiver for this season, not complying fully with the TCR regulations, which is for 4 or 5 door cars. But the Engstler Liquimoli team running 2 Audis for the time being with 1 Seat. And things will change, we're told, later in the season. But there is Stefano Comini out on his own. 4.1 seconds now, the gap between Comini and Nukia, but just 8/10 between Nukia and Bas Schouten. A similar gap, as you see there in the background, between Schouten and Pepe Oriola. So there's the battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Let's keep an eye on this battle for a lap or 2. Michel Nukia in 2nd place, and if he continues in 2nd, that'll be his best result of the TCR series. There he is. There is Bas Schouten. Pepe Oriola behind Schouten's red, white and blue Seat Leon. And Lucille Cipriano, we saw possibly tyre smoke coming from her car. She ran wide at turn 1. I'm guessing damage caused by contact means the retirement of Lucille Cipriano, who had been running as high as 11th. Again, looking from Engstler's car, and one of the, in fact, Engstler having a problem. That was Gleeson and Avanasiev. In fact, both Hondas and Avanasiev have got past Franz Engstler, and he comes into the pits. No idea of the problem for Engstler, but that's both of the Audi TTs retiring from round 6 of the TCR International Series. And that's where he runs wide, but he's slowing dramatically, as you can see, allowing the 2 Hondas and Afanasiev to go through. There is Engstler into the pits. So disappointment for the Engstler Motorsport Liqui-Moly team. Retirement for both of the Audi TTs in this second race in Valencia. But the march of Stefano Comini goes steadily onwards. Comini extremely consistent so far this season. Michel Nukia doing his best for his teammate and himself, of course, by holding off Bas Schouten, who's currently third. Pepe Oriola still 0.8 of a second or so behind Schouten in fourth. Then it's Andrea Bellicchi. Little wisps of smoke come up from the tyres as they lock up briefly. We're looking from Pepe Oriola's car to the 2 guys ahead of him. Bas Schouten in the red, white and blue Seat, and Michel Nukia in the blue and white Target Competition Seat Leon with the orange door mirrors. Schouten looks again as they go around turn 14 onto the start-finish straight. He takes the left-hand line, but both cars virtually identical, and so nothing in it as they cross the start-finish line. But Oriola switches to the left line. Has he got the line? Can he fend off? Yes, Schouten decides discretion is the better part of valor. Decides to go past him again. Brilliant driving from the 20-year-old Bas Schouten. And holds the line, hold his nerve for the left-hander. And so, although third position changed hands ever so briefly at turn 1, Schouten recovers brilliantly to come back at Pepe Oriola, and so retakes third position. But that takes a little of the pressure off Michel Nukia in second place, with Schouten and Oriola battling for third. And drive-through penalties being handed out by race control for overtaking during the safety car. Sergei Afanasiev gets a drive-through penalty, as does Lorenzo Vaglia. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars get drive-through penalties, including, you saw there, Pepe Oriola, 74. So 74 is Oriola, 77 is Afanasiev, 32 and 33 are Bellicchi and Cebrian. Cipriano, well, she's already out, and Vaglia we've already mentioned. But 74, Pepe Oriola, has to take a drive-through penalty, which will ruin his chances of a podium finish, you would think, in this second race here in Valencia. And the team telling Pepe Oriola, you've got a drive-through penalty. Some of the cars you see there going into the pits in the background, but Oriola will do one more lap behind Bas Schouten. And there is Vaglia taking his drive-through. He goes through, so that's one of the 5 cars that'll take the penalty, with Lucille Cipriano already having pulled into the pits. So Oriola, one of 6 drivers penalised then for overtaking during the safety car. So our leader off into the distance, Stefano Comini. You saw Michel Nukia there ahead of Bas Schouten. Pepe Oriola currently 4th. Andrea Bellicchi, who will be taking another drive-through penalty. David Cebrian, also a drive-through penalty for him, car 32. Gianni Morbidelli is the driver who stands to gain most, with 3 cars ahead of him, poised to take that drive-through penalty. Morbidelli currently 7th. And Vaglia, having taken his drive-through. Kevin Gleeson also stands to benefit. Gleeson currently in 9th place. That's the look down to the battle for second place between Michel Nukia and Bas Schouten. There is Bellicchi, who will, I'm sure, by now be aware of his drive-through penalty, as will Pepe Oriola. And as you can see from the lap counter, we're coming to the end of lap 14 from 17. In comes Pepe Oriola to take his drive-through. as Oriola goes through the pits, observing the pit lane speed limit. Through also comes Sergei Afanasyev in car 77. So the Craft Bamboo Lukoil team telling both their drivers to come through. But Beliki in car 33 and David Sebrian, car 32, still out on track. So they are yet to serve their drive-throughs. But that is our race leader, Stefano Camini, with the green wing mirrors. His teammate, Michel Nukier, in second place ahead of Bas Schouten. Then it's Beliki. Then it's Sebrian, but that position will change. Gianni Morbidelli is, as I mentioned earlier, the man potentially to gain the most. We're on lap 15 of 17, and so is Stefano Camini on course to become our first double winner of the season. Camini, the winner of our very first round in Sepang in Malaysia. And his consistency so far means that he currently leads the Drivers' Championship. There is Camini, and you see that yawning lead of nearly 6 seconds, 5.778 seconds to be exact, between Camini and Nukier. Bas Schouten now just 7/10 of a second behind Nukier, as Camini comes to the end of his 15th lap. 2 laps remaining for Stefano Camini. Nukier and Bas Schouten are across the finish line, as is Beliki, as is Sebrian, so they haven't taken their drive-throughs. So the warning screens here in front of me still flashing up that 3 cars are to take that drive-through penalty. One, of course, is unable to do so, which is Lucille Cipriano, but that's not registered because, of course, the transponder in the car is parked up in the pits. And confirmation also from race control that the incident between cars 19 and 88, that's Oscar Noguez and Jordi Genet, will be investigated after the race. So that will go to the stewards for investigation later. But that will be decided. It has no effect on our leaderboard. Already through your shot is Stefano Camini, Michel Nukier, Bas Schouten. You saw Andrea Beliki a moment ago. There he is with David Sebrian behind him. Those 2 drivers yet to take their drive-through penalties. Then it's Morbidelli. Then it's Kevin Gleeson. Then Oriola. Then Valia. Then Afanasyev. And Oriola, Valia and Afanasyev have already taken their penalties. There is Sebrian. And they come back onto the start-finish straight. What will happen now? Sebrian comes in, overtaking Schouten. So Schouten into the pits, running very slowly. Sebrian also into the pits, but Beliki still out as the cars are on their final lap. There is our race leader, Stefano Camini, cruising, it would seem. And I am fingers crossed as I'm saying that. Camini, 6.3 seconds now. A huge distance clear of Michel Nukier. Andrea Beliki, something like 3 seconds down on Nukier. And then Sebrian has come through the pit lane for his drive-through penalty. But the man who hasn't, Andrea Beliki, will potentially be penalised after the race for ignoring that drive-through penalty. But Camini on course to win for the 2nd time this year and make it 2 wins from 2 races for SEAT, but 1 each for the Craft Bamboo Lukoil and Target competition teams. Stefano Camini, having driven brilliantly, avoided the dramas at that first corner of this race, and he will be more than happy that Vanessa has looked after him once again. And as he heads down around turn 13, just 1 more corner, turn 14, named Adrian Campos, stands between Stefano Comini and his second win of the year. He drives up to take the checkered flag. Our congratulations to him, his arm already out of the window, pumping the air in celebration. Behind him, you see Michel Nukia taking second place. So there is confirmation. Nukia, Beliki having crossed the line in third place, and we are wondering whether the message got through to Beliki that he was supposed to do a drive-through penalty. Gianni Morbidelli crosses the line in fourth place. And then we wait for Kevin Gleeson, who finishes fifth. Pepe Oriola, a frustrated sixth, one suspects. And then further down, David Sebrian finishes seventh. Lorenzo Valia, eighth. Bas Schouten is still in the pits. So in theory, it'll be Sergei Afanasiev who finishes ninth. And that, I guess, will be our finishers. But a delighted Stefano Comini takes the applause of the marshals as he makes one more relatively low-speed lap around the circuit in Valencia. You can see he is absolutely delighted. That big beaming smile. Remember to steer, Stefano. It's all very well celebrating, but you have to bring the car home. But absolutely delighted to be leaving Valencia with a massive haul of points. And there it is, 106 points in total. He leads the Drivers' Championship from his teammate Andrea Beliki. So 16 points, the difference between the pair. Gianni Morbidelli came here as series leader. He's dropped to third, just a point ahead of Pepe Oriola. Kevin Gleeson, fifth in the Honda. Jordi Genet, a couple of points behind Kevin Gleeson. But Genet, you have to say, must be wondering what on earth happened at the start of that second race. Michel Nukia, seventh in the points table. Sergei Afanasiev, eighth. René Munich, thanks to that great second place in Shanghai, is ninth, forgive me, ninth on the points table, but running wides, and who can blame him, coming into the pits at the end of his slowing down lap, Stefano Comini, and our heartiest congratulations to the Swiss driver, winner of race 1 in Sepang, winner of race round 6, should I say, in Valencia, Stefano Comini, and I don't think I need to emphasize any more what that win means to him. There'll be lots of happy faces from the target competition team as Comini's car comes into the holding area. The other car's diverted into Parc Ferme, you can see in the background. As Comini, I'm not sure if he was trying to kiss the camera then. Brilliant hugs, I suspect, for his engineers and for the managements from Target Competition. There you see the twin brothers who manage the team, and don't ask me to tell them apart, because even Walter, the Gummerer family who run the Target Competition team, even their dad has trouble telling them apart. Particularly if they ring him up on the phone. He has absolutely no idea who's on the phone to him, but visually they are identical, and our congratulations to the entire Gummerer family and to the Target Competition team. A brilliant performance by them. Stefano Comini puts on the Michelin hat in readiness for the podium celebrations, but our congratulations to him. And we will take a look at the results from round 6 of the TCR International Series. Oh, in fact, we will be talking to Stefano before we see the results. Stefano Comini is talking to Fabio Ravaioli.
Stefano Comini, winner of the second race in Valencia, the first driver capable to win 2 races so far this season.
Yeah, was a crazy start, really crazy start, and I think I was one of the only that had ball to take the throttle. The car was incredible fast. We had old tire, but the setup was incredible, and this was for me like a test, because the gap was 5 second gap. I tried to push all the race to try this setup, and it's perfetto.
And in terms of championship, this weekend is very good because regained the leadership.
Yeah, the first race wasn't good. Really a bad start. The second this race is a super start with launch control. The first time in my life. Before I never used it, and yeah, it's incredible day.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Yeah, we won't go into details on part of his first answer, but a delighted Stefano Comini talking there to Fabio. And now we'll get the confirmation. I was a little premature earlier. Comini takes the win from Michel Nuccia by very nearly 8 seconds. As I say, it's Andrea Bellicchi who crossed the line in 3rd place, but it may well be that that drive-through penalty will be applied retrospectively. Gianni Morbidelli 4th, Kevin Gleeson 5th, the 2 Hondas. And then looking down the order, some of our non-finishers, Lucille Cipriano, Franz Enschler first of all, both of the Audi TTs failing to finish.
Stefano Comini, equipo vencedor de competition, representado por Walter Kummer. Escuchamos en honor del vencedor el himno de Suiza. Don Carlos Gracia, vicepresidente de la Federación Internacional de Automovilismo, entregará el trofeo al tercer clasificado Andrea Bellicchi. Don Carlos Gracia, vicepresidente de la FIA, entregará el premio que acredita en la segunda plaza a Michel Nitkaer. Finalmente, don Carlos Gracia entregará el trofeo al vencedor de la carrera, Stefano Comini. Don Piercarlo Botero, CEO de la compañía SEL, entregará el trofeo al equipo ganador, Target Competition, representado por Walter Kummer. Es el momento para la fotografía con los 4 trofeos. Ahí están el señor Kummerer, Andrea Bellicchi, Nitkaer y Stefano Comini, que se pone más líder del campeonato. Y ahora rápidamente el momento de celebrarlo con el champán en lo alto del podio del circuito de la Comunidad Valenciana, Ricardo Tormo. Nitkaer, que ha sido el más guerrero. Ahí vemos cómo lo está celebrando Stefano Comini, que se pone en líder.
One footnote from Valencia, Bellicchi might have finished on the podium, but the stewards later excluded him for missing that drive-through penalty. Dramas galore from Spain then, but Seat, Pepe Oriola and Stefano Comini are happy enough. Next, around 7 and 8 in Portimao in Portugal, but from Valencia, goodbye.